this was a story I touched upon back in December briefly when it was clear that the Republicans had agenda to do this. And I'm speaking about the Republican agenda to change the way that electoral votes are awarded to candidates in presidential elections, specifically in states that were considered swing states, but have basically moved in, at least in the context of presidential politics, into the fairly or lean towards Democrats column, if you could. Back on December 17th, Reed Wilson of the National Journal wrote that senior Republicans say they will try to leverage their party's majorities in Democratic-leaning states in an effort to end the winner-take-all system of awarding electoral votes. Remember, the context for this. There are many states which Republicans took control of the state legislatures in 2010. In addition to passing things like right to work, so-called right-to-work legislation, in addition to trying to pass and passing in some instances a whole host of anti-choice legislation, in addition to passing bat crap crazy things like, we have to say God in school 43 times or whatever it is, outlaw books that look at critical reasoning, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that they also did, based upon the 2010 census that came out after these elections, was to redistrict a lot of congressional seats and essentially gerrymandered things so much that a lot of Democratic votes were isolated, particularly in urban districts. And the strangest sort of outlines of Republican districts were drawn so that Republicans could get a lock on these seats. There were 1 million more votes cast for Democratic congressional candidates in 2012 than Republicans. However, Republicans won 33 more seats than Democrats. Conceptually, this is sort of a difficult thing to wrap your head around. But the fact is those seats that were won by Democrats were won overwhelmingly because there were so many Democrats isolated in Democratic districts, whereas these Republicans won closer to 60-40, let's say, or 55-45, which is a pretty big win because the Democrats were siphoned off, essentially, into oddly contiguous districts because they were drawn so strangely. So the implications are not just on a congressional level. And many experts, and I think I'm not counting myself as one, but I've certainly repeated this in the past on the show, believe that Democrats really have no chance because of the way these districts are drawn to win the House until the 2020 census is taken, and they have an opportunity perhaps to take back some of these state legislatures and redraw these districts. There are some legislation that are being proposed to impose nonpartisan redistricting, but I don't know that's going to go anywhere. So the plan is by Republicans in states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Virginia, perhaps Ohio and Florida, is to, instead of awarding electoral votes based upon how the state votes in terms of a popular vote, they will award it based upon how congressional districts vote. So, in other words, if you're in Michigan, and I'm just making up numbers here because I don't have them, and people have done this breakdown. But if you're in Michigan and the president wins by the popular vote in Michigan by 3-4 percentage points, however, loses, or let's take Pennsylvania, for instance, because I know this off the top of my head. Pennsylvania, he wins by 3 or 4 percentage points, popular vote. However, Democrats lost congressional districts there, I think 13-5, somewhere around that neighborhood. What they would do in Pennsylvania, for instance, is award the electoral votes based on the congressional districts. This is, in some respects, a reflection of the way that we do the electoral vote, where Al Gore could win 500,000 more votes nationally, but lose because the electoral votes were handed out based on a state-by-state basis. It diminishes the power of cities, urban areas. It diminishes the power of places where there is a strong concentration of, like New York and California, of Democratic voters based upon simply by the fact that they live in New York and California. Fundamentally, the electoral vote in and of itself is anti-democratic. There has been a strong push for a national popular vote in this country, and it is, to a certain extent, picking up steam as different state legislatures around the country vote for it. We're still not there yet. But what it would do, the implications of this, if they were to be able to, Republicans who control state legislatures in states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, Virginia, and Florida do, it would essentially have taken the landslide in electoral votes that President Obama won in this past election, and it would have made Mitt Romney the winner of the 2012 election. Those are the stakes that are involved here. So a Republican Party that sees its diminished national prestige as a reality realizes we have to change the way that we vote for president in key states that are electing Democrats to the presidency. And this has implications, or I should say, this is a reflection of what is driving the Republican Party now, too, which is that their electoral strength is highly concentrated in regions within states and also regionally in the country. They are playing more and more to a decreasing base, but because of its concentration, that's where they're getting their power.